Another day, another story. Once there was a street dog, a mutt with matted fur and dull, sad eyes. He roamed the streets of the city in search of food, scavenging through bins and hoping to find something edible. But there was never enough to go around, and he often went days without eating. The street dog was alone in the world. He had no owner, no home, and no one to care for him. He had been born on the streets and had never known anything different. He had learned to fend for himself and survive the harsh realities of life on the street. But he was always hungry, and he was always searching for food. He had learned to be wary of people, as they often threw rocks or kicked him when he came too close. But sometimes, there were kind-hearted souls who gave him scraps of food or a bowl of water. One such person was a woman who lived in a small apartment near the edge of the city. She was an animal lover and often left bowls of water and food outside her door for stray animals. The street dog had stumbled upon her one day and had been drawn to the scent of the food. He had been cautious at first, not sure if it was a trap, but his hunger had gotten the better of him. He had taken a tentative step towards the bowl of food and had started to eat. It was the first time in days that he had eaten anything, and it was delicious. The woman had watched him from her window, and she had been touched by the sight of the starving dog finally getting something to eat. She had started leaving food out for him every day, and the street dog had become a regular visitor to her apartment. Over time, the street dog had started to trust the woman. He had even let her pet him and scratch behind his ears. He had started to wag his tail whenever he saw her and would sometimes follow her around as she went about her day. The woman had grown fond of the street dog and had even given him a name, Rusty. She had started to worry about him when he didn't show up for a few days and had gone searching for him. She had found him curled up in an alleyway, shivering in the rain. She had taken him back to her apartment and had given him a warm bath and a good meal. Rusty had slept soundly that night, for the first time in a long time, knowing that he was safe and cared for. But life on the streets was tough, and Rusty knew that he couldn't rely on the woman forever. He had to fend for himself and find food and shelter on his own. He had to be strong and resilient, just like the other street dogs who roamed the city. As the days turned into weeks, Rusty continued to visit the woman's apartment, but he also ventured out into the city, exploring new streets and alleys. He had to be careful, as there were many dangers lurking in the shadows, other dogs, cars, and people who didn't like stray animals. But Rusty was determined to survive. He had a fierce spirit and a strong will to live. He knew that he couldn't give up, no matter how tough things got. He had to keep going, keep searching for food and shelter, keep fighting for his survival. One day, Rusty met another stray dog, a scrappy terrier with a mischievous glint in his eye. The terrier's name was Max, and he had been on the streets for much longer than Rusty. Max knew all the tricks of survival and had a street-smart attitude that Rusty admired. Max showed Rusty where to find the best scraps of food and where to sleep at night. He taught